think I started around 2009, 2010 season, and it wasn't obviously as complex as it now. You guys have a whole team. We kind of just had, three guys plus Dave. The technology, we had back then was a little bit more, difficult to work with. It's the old times. It was tough to watch because, it was tough to see everything and the clarity. And we just have one camera kind of sitting next to the science center, and you're trying to zoom in from 150 yards away, which is pretty tough. Back in 2010, I know it was just hard trying to get the graphics up and, the starting lineups and who's playing and coaches' interviews.
I think for my family in particular, being so far away and having such a strong volleyball community around me, when I first came to UMass, I think a lot of people beyond my parents weren't ever going to be able to watch me play live unless we ever came back to Minnesota. So I think having a broadcast to begin with, I think was a good baseline and giving people access to watching me who would watch me since I was 12 or whatever years old when I started playing. I think the other thing about having such a strong broadcast, and I think as the broadcast got better throughout my 4 years at UMass, I think my parents would always say if we were playing at other schools or playing at different programs, the quality of the webcast just wasn't there. It'd be delayed. The camera work would be not great. And I think UMass kind of created a standard where the quality of the webcast, not only from the camera angles, what you're looking at, but also the broadcasting, the announcers showing the stats and those elements, I think added to it. And I think they became the norm for people that watched me play in particular. So when they went elsewhere, they really appreciated the quality and the time and the effort that was put in on the UMass broadcasts. I think as we all got more comfortable with it and got better, I think the quality of the broadcast got better as well. And I think that evolution was something that I look back on. And I think I'm glad that I was a part of that, or could have helped been kind of on the ground floor of the new age of the Beacon broadcast, I think, as things have definitely evolved and gotten better throughout the years.
We've gone from one headset to multiple camera angles, intermission interviews, post-game interviews, more clips in between, right? Clips with the coaching staff, clips with other sports teams, giving people a full encompassing idea of what's happening in Beaconville. So the technology has advanced as well. There's a sense of pride that goes into the broadcasts and everybody that's participating, from, you and I who are on air to the people who are getting the stats up, in real time. Like I said, the different camera angles, there's a sense of pride that goes into the broadcast. And I think you can see that when I talk to people who watch our broadcasts. It's not even comparable to some of the other D3 schools out there.
Being, a junior, really close to like the end of my sophomore year and even beginning of my junior year, I was given a lot more responsibility than I ever thought I was going to have coming in as a freshman and working in the sports information department. So I think it just kind of really puts it into perspective, like the hard work that's put in throughout the years and something that you don't really picture yourself doing. And all of a sudden you're having a really good time directing a whole basketball game or even double headers. And just knowing that, you can have a little bit of freestyle with it and make the show your own and use different camera angles. And, I think it really spices it up and adds your own little flair to it. We as the BBN have one of the best broadcasting, setup and even show in all of Division III. I think that we put on a really cohesive show. We're worried about the little details, and just knowing that when you're playing a home game, I think it even makes it a little bit more fun to, play a home game, because that your parents or your family members and friends can be anywhere and they can watch a good broadcast.
It plays a role, especially, kids who aren't from New England. And like I said, families who aren't fortunate to drive up on the weekends to catch the players or their kids' games. And, they kind of dedicate that day and plug it into the TV. I know my parents used to do that too. And they still do to this day.
It's amazing how many people will find a way to come up to you. And this isn't just recent grads, right? Like obviously those individuals are going to be more invested, right? They still know people on the team, people that graduated in the 80s, or sometimes even, beyond that, who will tell me, you guys do such a great job on the broadcast, or I love what you guys have done this year, painting a picture of what's going on, behind the scenes. And it's funny. I never really know how many people are tuned in. It's not like we have a counter where I can see, how many viewers we have, but it really just shows the reach goes beyond, just the parents who are on the team or siblings who are tuning in. It's alumni. It's just flat out fans.
I think overall, I think it was just a fun time. I think the people I got to work with were great. And we became like a little group of people. We were together every Friday, Saturday, it felt like, of the winter, working all of the games. And I think that was something that added to the kind of the friendships and things off the broadcast and seeing people in the hallways and in weight room and things like that. And I think it created a stronger sense of community, at least for myself. And I think that's probably what I would look back on and highlight as one of the highlights of working on the broadcast.
I think the BBN has set myself up personally pretty good for working out in the field. And even though I'm not doing anything sports information related or even broadcast related, I think that there's a certain level of, professionalism and expectations that are asked of you when you come to work at the BBN. You want to be punctual, you want to have good attention to detail and, be 110% focused. And I think that those are things that you can take with you, even when you're not working for the BBN.
Yeah, it's come a long way in the 10 years. And obviously you think of 10 years is a long time, but, the evolution of the, sports broadcasting was pretty incredible to what it was then and what it is now.